Well, welcome to the show, Scotty the Trucker 888. It is such a thrill to have you here. Now, folks in our community of AIM Cats will know you. You've kept us informed with what's going on the road, but what we brought you on the show today is for your deep spiritual connection to all that's happening. You yourself have been on a spiritual journey that's quite remarkable, and we could spend days going over it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Keeping ourselves in a low energy, a low frequency is not a good place. So, staying up in the high frequency, going up, is a place where we'd like to be. I was living in New Jersey, and I was in kind of a marriage that I got hooked up with a cousin of mine. And she had a couple kids, and what happened was, we came together, and it was a beautiful thing. We worked on, getting our lives together and everything. And, I just wasn't happy, and being on the road all the time, it was very arduous. And, I come from a blue collar family, so working hard is part of my life. And, I was very negative, and I felt like I needed something to change. And I joined a gym, and I started exercising. Truckers, we don't get much exercise sitting all the time. And I was in that gym working out, and there was this one woman in there. I'd go in there in the middle of the day, say about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was nobody in there. And there was this one woman in there that was working out, and I kept smiling, saying hi to her, working out and everything. And there was some kind of connection I had with her. She was, an older woman and beautiful. And for some reason, I got off the exercise machine, and I went up to her and I said, "What is it that you have for me?" I don't know where that came from, but it came out of me, and I was very negative and angry, and believe it or not, and was always on the road all the time, and I was stressed out about family life and everything else. That's why I was in the gym. And she goes, "I was waiting for you to ask me that." And I was like, okay, this is like a weird thing that happened. And she went out to her car, and she comes back in with these 3 cassettes, and she says, "Listen to these." And I told her I was a trucker, and I said this would be good because I could go on the highway listening to, this material. I said, "What is it about?" She said, "Positive thinking." And I was like, okay. And it ended up being the starter tapes for Abraham Hicks thing. And I didn't know what it was. I was brought up as a Catholic Christianity, and, I like to say I was beaten up through Catholicism, which was basically the truth. And I started listening to this on the highway, and it was teaching me. It was a man and a woman speaking. First, she went through the whole thing about how she came about, and Jerry was like the spokesman in the background talking about, how everything happened. And it was teaching me how to redirect my thoughts from negative to positive. And if I just kept doing it in a repetitious way, things would change for me. And at that point in time, I realized this could be it. Could be something I'm looking for. So I started listening to it over and over again. And I didn't see this woman for a while. She kind of disappeared. But then, because there was only these 3 cassettes I had, and I kept listening to it over and over again. And then finally I saw her in the gym again, and she handed me more tapes. And I started listening to more tapes, and it was these seminars. And I started listening to the seminars, and something clicked. You know what clicked to me in the beginning was when Abraham came out, and she started speaking in the beginning, is she had some kind of accent, and to me it sounded like a Scottish accent, like my grandmother. That was the strangest thing for me, and it connected to me. And that's why I started listening to most of it, all of it, basically. I was gobbling it all up, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I listened to it all night long. And I started doing the processes that they're, asking me to do to help myself with, like writing and meditating and stuff. And I didn't know what meditating was about. I did some praying in church, and really didn't know what I was connecting to. But when I continued doing this over and over again, and started doing the writings, where I would write every day of how I wanted my day to be, and then I would thank the universe at the bottom of the page, and I would sit quietly for 15 minutes, with a fan going or something like that, and just sit quietly and breathe. And at first I didn't know what was going on. What's this about? But I have kind of a mechanical mind, and I realized that if I keep doing this over and over again, I could possibly get a result from it, or something like that. I was just looking, I was searching, and there was one point in time where I was sitting somewhere quietly after my writings, and I was in this meditation, and I felt something. I felt something move me inside of me, and it was the first time that ever happened to me, and it kind of freaked me out a little. And I didn't know, my first inclination was it was the spirits touching me to give me a touch on the shoulder or something, and from there I was like, wow. And the next day I did it, the same processes, the same thing happened. And I was so excited. That I had a connection to source, the spirits, the angels, that I know that I've always had ever since I was a wee lad. I've had incidents where I was at a point in time where I was in a bad spot, and I was always picked up and removed from that spot and brought to goodness. And that was my,
Scott,
go ahead, sorry.
So
Yes.
then you're resonating with the message I gave the other day, that we're protected. If you look around and start examining your life, you have been protected all along.
Absolutely. Ever since I was a wee boy, I was always protected. When I was born, my mom was sick, so they handed me over to my Scottish grandparents, and they brought me up, for the first couple of years. And, going through church and being the youngest of 6 boys and living in that northern New Jersey city, I was always had this protection. And, I truly believe was from my grandparents and my mom and everything, always praying for my protection. And yes.
I want to do a little fast forward here. In the end, you went and you drove for the Abraham Hicks group for several years, correct?
Correct.
And so along that way, you just met incredible people, learned a lot. But can we just flash forward to the time where you're wrapping it up? What were your takeaways from being with this group for so long that you can share with AIMCATs?
Well, my takeaways are, when you're thinking you're living a life of pain and negativity, you don't have to. You have tools, and you have guardian angels, and you have source energy. You have all that at your disposal. And when I traveled a lot, because my whole life's been travel, I was able to have that energy flowing all the time. And one thing that was most definitely the most positive thing for me was meeting hundreds of thousands of people, hugging them, kissing them, loving them. And I was at the door greeting them And I mean, I miss that dearly. And but I know that they're still there, and I feel it all, and that connection with many people, and able to see them and feel them, talk to them, was very, very big for me. It was a very positive thing for me. Plus, also meeting my wife, my next wife, there was very big. That was an angelic thing. You know, she's a goddess to me. That definitely helped me. And you know, being with Jerry and Esther, and meeting a lot of people that you know, going around the world and meeting a lot of people that were very cool, that I never thought I would meet, but I've always seen in, you know, on television, or you know, in ads or whatever. And next to know, I'm sitting there with them having dinner or something, you know. And you know, my wife likes to call my life according to Scotty. You know, I have my own ways of thinking and doing things that are a little quirky and strange, but they always turn out to be a good path, because you know, I'm always getting that nudge from spirit angels to bring me in that direction. So, you know, it's like when I write things on, you know, comments or whatnot, I think about them for a minute, and then I put down what I think comes out of my head right away. You know, sometimes that gets me in trouble, because I tell the brutal truth to people right to their face.
That's what we love about you, Scotty.
And thank you. And it either scares them or it gravitates them towards me. You
Well, I've
know,
always
and I got
gravitated towards your remarks because you have insight, and it's a lot of times delivered succinctly, which, you know, people spend a lot of words to say very little, but you say a lot in a few words. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I about today's age. So those were some beautiful times. And now, can people in this apocalyptic time still find communities like the community that you found, that you were so connected to, or do you see that it's getting pretty desperate out there?
I think they're searching for communities like this. You know, I mean, I truly believe that, because people are in a desperate way, and now that the masks are off for some, and you know, things have like gotten to normal, which I don't believe they will be totally normal. I've noticed that people are starting to get more open, and asking questions, and smiling, and, you know, getting close to you, because there's none of that stuff going on anymore. And you know, wherever I go in my life, I always I'm a little boisterous in a positive way, but in also a comedic way, because I feel like if you're a little bit funny about things, people laugh, ha ha ha, but then they go away with this thought in their head that oh boy, because they keep thinking about it because it made them laugh, you know. And that's how somehow teachings are, you know, sometimes they could be arduous to people, and they won't get the message unless something strikes them, like a laughter, or, you know, something like that, or a feeling inside or whatever. And you know, I believe that I've always had like you said, Douglas, I have a big heart, and I'm really good at feeling things through, and then it just comes out of me, and it's usually 99% right, or, you know, it's what I think is right. You know, I might not be right to others, but, you know.
So what's the right thing to do with this pandemic?
Love each other, you know, raise up your frequency, you know, because where they're putting it at us is at a low energy, a low frequency. So if we raise our frequency and our energy, they can't get to us. We have that armor of God, and we're above a different level than they are. So they can't get, everything's in streams. And if we row our boat down the higher stream, you know, they're left behind and going down the sinkhole with their negativity, which I think is happening now. You know, and the earth and its energy comes from its people, and it's humans and plants and animals. And if the frequency is high, then there's nothing that can get to us except for goodness and love.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla said, we're supposed to look at vibration and frequency if we want to understand everything. So would I be
Exactly.
correct to say that the highest frequency is love?
Yes, love, and I'm most positive about that, and appreciate. Appreciation is love. So if you go around in a high appreciation of everything and others, and use kindness, you're in that energy, and that's where your shield is. And I think that if we all work together on that, their low energy can't get to us. And I have a feeling that the reason that everything's happening right now is because people forgot that, and they're sitting in that low energy of fear, and they don't realize that if they would just get themselves away from that and go towards love and appreciation and raise their energy, then there would be no part of that in their lives. And the earth, listen, the earth's got that going, and so it's we can always tap into it. It's that free energy.
Yes, absolutely. Now you're out on the road. I like to stay in my house. I'm afraid of 5G. I'm afraid of 4G. I'm afraid of 1G. I'm afraid of all that stuff.
Right.
And when I'm out there on
Right.
the road, I see crazy things now. And you're out there all the time. Some people like to use devices, and they wear necklaces and bracelets and whatever.
Yeah, I got a little one myself right here. It's a little, ionizer thing,
Well,
stainless
you have
steel.
to describe it because, of course, our audience won't be able to see it.
Yeah, tell us about
It's
that.
it's something I got from John B. Wells CTM store. It's a little it's stainless steel. It's been ionized to glass or something. It's got some kind of thing in it. I don't know, but
Well, stainless steel is good to put against your body because
right. I got that from Douglas, and I started thinking about that. So that's where this came from. I decided, okay, maybe I should have some stainless steel on my body. And even though I have, I go towards kindness and appreciation, and that's my stainless steel. But you're right, Douglas, about this energy stuff. Where I live, 5G. Where I live, there's no towers around here. I mean, there's probably one, 10 miles away. But I've been noticing that they're putting these little boxes up everywhere at street lights and everything, and I'm sure they're there. And when I go down to my truck depot, they're everywhere. And actually, what I notice is a lot is, for some reason, they're putting these giant, ugly looking, like you said, scary towers right next to hotels and schools and everything like that. Now, I'm like, wow, there's definitely an intention there for some reason. Why would they do that? And there's actually a Hilton on the Mass Pike that I go past, and it's a sign. It's a big, beautiful sign that's a tall pole, and I drive by it every night, and it's blue, and I look at it, I'm like, oh. And then one day I went by it, and it was kind of daylight still, and I realized that entire thing was one big 5G tower with the Hilton sign on it, directly next to the Hilton Hotel. And I started thinking, man, them people don't realize they're getting cooked in there while they're sleeping. And but see, that's that energy that they gravitate to. I mean, why would they be there in that place sleeping unless it brought them there? So I'd like to take my stream to places where there's none of that, and just stay in the appreciation and the love of my life and my family and my animals, and everything that's part of that. And hopefully that stays that way. Well, I know it will stay that way. And I think everybody will be building upon that until it gets so large where it used to be. It used to be that way. And then we forgot. That's what happens, us humans. We forget. And then we have to be reminded and brought back in. And that's why I'm so thankful for you too, because you definitely reminded me. You reminded me of what stream I need to be in and where I need to go. And I'm studying your stuff as much as I can, and I love listening to Michael McKibben, and who reminds me of an old friend of mine, and John, and pastor and his pastor, Ben Franklin there,
Yeah.
and I just love listening. That's how this all started for me, driving down the highway, listening and looking at the blacktop and the lines going by, and just staying in that energy of listening and the road going by, and that sunk right into my being. And it stays in there. Sometimes I forget it, but I bring myself back. And right now I'm at the point of coming back into it. Here I am talking to you, so here I go again. And there's something that you said to me, Doug. You said I'm coming back. And
Oh, yeah. Well, you already are. You just described a beautiful bioarc. You have created exactly what we tell people is the right thing to do. Create a bioarc, create a healthy environment in your heart, so that you are emanating all this energy that repels those negative vibrations. And appreciation, which you've used as a phrase a number of times, they found when they did these studies of people speaking into water, and then they flash freeze it. And when they speak bad words, it's a horrible crystal that is formed. When they speak beautiful words, it's a beautiful, really beautiful crystal. But the words that create the most beautiful crystal are love and, as you put it, appreciation, or gratefulness, thankfulness.
Right.
Those are the two most powerful things that we have on the face of the earth. They literally change matter, even if you only think it. You don't even have to speak it into the water. People that I know write it on a piece of paper, put it on a glass of water, and it changes the structure of the water. This has been proven. This isn't some theory. It isn't some vibrational nonsense. No, and people who want to talk about vibration being a nonsense, they're just silly. Everything's a vibration, for heaven's sakes. And yes, if you learn how to hit higher octaves, because you've learned to sing higher octaves, and you can hit the harmonics above what is your normal range, then you can see that you can develop vibration. Well, you can do that with consciousness. You can do it with emotions.
We see his sigil in the background.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it.
First opened up, yes.
Yeah. Well, I got them all over the place. I got them in my truck. I keep them in my truck, and other drivers jumped in, because when I'm not working, sometimes other drivers jump in, and they're looking at it, and they throw it out, and they don't know what it is. And I just get another one because I got them printed out, and I put it back in. I carry them with me.
My concern is this. You have always been the most sensible person, and I've told you from the beginning, and how much I appreciate your remarks, because you're just so what is it? You hit the nail on the head, as it were. So, are you worried about Ukraine and Russia and no oil in Europe and the food shortage?
And the collapse of the dollar.
We could keep
going and make
Are you
terribly.
worried about this, or are you like the Dalai Lama, who just says, no, I just go into a beautiful space and I send out love to everybody?
Exactly. And I think that that's not going to, affect me if I do it that way. If I believe that, only good comes to me, I will, in my mind, and focusing that way, that will happen. And as far as the oil and the food and everything's concerned, come on, you could just grow that in your backyard. And oil is everywhere. You see right now, the earth creates oil. You can see that right now. Everything's falling apart for them, because everybody is waking up to the fact that it's all a lie. They're all charades. So it's all falling apart. It's like that Matrix movie, where the dimensions, there's several dimensions. And if you focus on that dimension, that's the dimension you're going to get. So I like to focus on the good dimension of having all I need and have. But I do tell you that silver, I've been buying that, and I love the feeling in my hand. That feeling of that silver feels good, and it's definitely a spiritual money.
Antibacterial as well. If we all handled silver as our currency, we'd all be a lot healthier.
Exactly. So I'm accumulating that, and I got some foods. I told the wife months ago, whenever she's shopping, please pick up extra cans of beans and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going on, but I really don't believe that they're going to get away with this, or they even have. They don't have the powerful frequency and energy that we have to follow this through. That's why they're coming up against the barrier of this, and I don't believe that they're going to get it done. But this Ukraine Putin thing, it's sad to hear what might be going on, whether it's true or not. I feel that if Putin actually says that he's a Christian, and it's all Christianity going on over there, I don't know what kind of I'm not. When I look at people, I think the good of them. I don't think the bad parts. And I try to stay that way with everybody. There's some people out there that are kind of nudgy, but they don't stay in my space. So I think there's good out there, and I think there's good in everybody's heart. They just have to break that calcium off to get to the good. Some of them. Others just have it totally. And please stop listening to what they're saying. It's all a game, and only listen to what your heart says, and just appreciate and love, and you'll stay in that energy, that frequency. That's your armor. That's definitely your armor.